Hey guys, I wanted to let you know that I'll be doing my very first versus video between Darth Sidious and Magneto very soon. So if you want to participate in voting for and discussing who will win, which will kind of help me determine the outcome of the whole entire video before I create it, you can click the link below and you can sign up for my email list and join the online Overlord community. You'll also get updates for any future events that I have planned. And thanks to all of you who subscribe and support Law TV. I was born the year before episode 5 was released in theaters. So I wasn't a child that got the opportunity to go to theaters and see the original trilogy. Around the age of 5, I fell in love with the 3 films. And I watched them constantly until I became a teenager. I guess by that time I felt too old for Star Wars. That was until episode 1 was released. And by this time I was in college, so I went to go see it in theaters like 5 times. And I did the exact same thing when episode 2 and 3 was released. After the amazement of the prequels, I was starving for more. And I know a lot of people say they hated the prequels, but I actually still have quite a deep love for the prequels. And I really I just wanted more Star Wars. So then after that, the animated film for the Clone Wars was released. I didn't see that movie in theaters, and I assumed that that film was primarily for kids. So I passed on that until I was over a friend's house and we were watching a television series episode of the Clone Wars. By this time, it was well into season 3, and from the moment that I started watching it, I was hooked. I got a chance to catch up on all the episodes that I missed. And after I was done, I found myself hungry for more Star Wars again. I went online to see if I could find anything else that was Star Wars related. And I could only find like fan-made films and things like that. But what I wanted was something that, you know, either George Lucas made or was George Lucas approved. And that's when I found Star Wars Legends. But back then, most of the fans would consider that to be pretty much canon. There was hundreds of books and comics that I could read. And at first, I was overwhelmed and figured I probably don't even want to do this because it'd take years to get through all that stuff. So with the help of audiobooks, I was able to get through like 99% of the material in like 2 years. Only for it to be removed from the Star Wars timeline after the transition to Disney. I don't have any friends that are into Star Wars like I am. And I'm pretty sure that a lot of my friends probably wonder why I'm so into it in the first place. They might even see it as kids stuff and think that mature adults shouldn't be so deeply immersed in such a fantastic world. But in my opinion, the films are mostly marketed towards kids and younger kids. And the books are marketed towards adults. Also, many people probably assume that I'm into Star Wars because it's in a science fiction atmosphere. It has lightsabers, energy blasters, beings who use special powers, and it's all happening throughout space. Those are things that make it fun. But the reason why I'm really drawn to the whole entire universe is mainly because of its philosophical content. And I'm more of a philosophy nerd than a science fiction nerd, really. When it comes to good and evil, there's no real clear lines drawn. You can relate to any character, whether they're considered good or evil based on most people's general standards, of course. I think we live in a society that attempts to draw these lines between good and evil and fails miserably, very similar to how it happens in the Star Wars universe. So today this video is going to be a little bit longer and a little bit more serious than a lot of my Star Wars book reviews that I've done before. And I'm going to share with you how I apply the philosophies of the Star Wars universe in my everyday life. I'm not going to go into all the ones that I apply, but definitely the ones that I believe are the most useful. We're all familiar with the light and the dark sides of the Force. And if you've seen the episodes of the Clone Wars where Anakin, Ahsoka, and Obi-Wan are on the Mortis Monolith, you're pretty aware of the struggle that goes on between the two sides. And only the wisest can be able to maintain balance between the two. So these episodes depict a very clear distinction between the light and the dark side. And the light side is selfless, compassionate, and very transparent, while the dark side is selfish, passionate, and very deceptive. Most characters seem to have the same goals in mind, only their choices between choosing light and dark side methods to achieve those goals is based on their personal morals and values. Choosing either side to me is like choosing between the Democratic and Republican parties. Truly wise people know that choosing a side is like saying, I really just don't know how to think for myself. All the Jedi and Sith philosophies are both a part of our human nature, and we can't escape them. And that's pretty much why Darth Sidious was able to rule as emperor, but eventually was defeated by his own greed and arrogance. As a Taoist, I learned that everything is a part of the Tao and nothing is excluded. So in the real world, people often tend to only apply all the good things that happen in the world to God. For instance, like if they were able to achieve some sort of goal that they've been really trying hard and working hard towards, they apply those things to God. And if you believe in this sort of thing, all the evil things are applied to the devil, like for instance, the Holocaust or something like that, or a serial killer who, decides to take a child and kill them or something like that, which I believe is a flawed way of looking at the world. The Star Wars universe applies all things to the living in the cosmic force. How a being views, understands, and uses the force is entirely up to the individual. And the idea of duality within the force comes from individuals. So overall, the force, the will of the force, is always absolute, and it can't be changed, altered, or manipulated at all. So Anakin Skywalker is a great example of the will of the force taking shape, despite the efforts of the Sith to try and shape the force to their own will. So when the dark side may seem to be gaining ground, the light side eventually will strike back and balance things out in one way or another. Love can't be ignored in the Star Wars universe. It's a central theme for the overall story. Again, Anakin Skywalker is a perfect example here. His love for his mother and Padme was a driving force for him. The Jedi Order encouraged avoiding attachments, which probably was their ultimate downfall, because it's human nature to love. And we may be able to learn how to love while avoiding attachment, but that's a really hard thing to do. In my life, I know I'm a very passionate person, which can make it fairly difficult for me to avoid attachments sometimes. Although it is something that I practice in order to develop better interdependent relationships. We all want to love and be loved in many ways. But it's important that we handle that love responsibly. If you've read The Art of War by Sun Tzu, you already know what I'm talking about. War is in the title of all the movies and other forms of media. So we get a lot of different scenarios of how the art of war is practiced. And Darth Sidious is my favorite example of this. With the help of Plagueis, he orchestrated the entire demise of the Jedi Order. In Star Wars, it's pretty difficult to win battles without cunning. I'm not a fighter and I don't have any plans of war or taking over the world. So I apply the things that I learned from this in business, career, and personal goals. I've spent years planning to get where I am today. And like Darth Sidious, I've learned to master the ability of foresight. Sidious saw himself as emperor decades before it came to fruition. 5 years ago, I saw myself in a career of web development, even without a college degree. And now I'm almost 3 years into my career as a professional web developer. I also saw myself as an author, a motivational speaker, and a well-known YouTube personality. And as long as I maintain my path of executing all my well thought out plans, I'm fairly certain that eventually it'll happen. Star Wars also helped me learn to plan for contingencies. Where many people I know tend to be blindsided by contingencies and end up complaining about them or just giving up on their plans altogether, I always make sure to be fully prepared to switch to plan B, C, or D if needed. That way I make sure that success is inevitable. So I hope you enjoyed watching this video and you at least got some kind of value from it. Leave a comment below and let me know how you apply Star Wars to your life. And if you've been a subscriber, you already know that I'm going to join you in the discussion. Also, don't forget to join the Online Overlord newsletter where you can get updates on my new online community. Thanks for watching, and be on the lookout for my first versus video of Darth Sidious and Magneto. Make sure to give us a thumbs up if you like our videos. You can also find us on Twitter, Facebook, and Google+. You can watch any of our most recent videos, and you can subscribe to the channel to get instant access to any new videos that we publish in the future. You can also access our website at lawtv.me. There you'll find more videos, articles, and photos, and you can sign up for our newsletter. Thank you for watching. See you on the next episode.